Hello there. Welcome to My Left Ear. This is Carrie Freeman. It's Wednesday, June 29th, the day after the big 1-6 committee hearing with Cassidy. So we're going to get to that. This is My Left Ear for new people. It's called that because sometimes, almost all the time, I get information through my left ear. Just came to me that way. I've been doing this YouTube, which is left-leaning YouTube. Then I also fold in the runes, the oracle, and some evidence stories. All of it gets explained if you watch. It's intended to be entertainment, but these impressions I get are authentic, and I share them. And we'll go from there. I have a new Patreon channel. I'll post that in the community. $8 a month, and I'm teaching runes, but I'm also sharing some extremely fun celebrity stories that I have experienced, not rumor. And people seem to really like them. I just have to tell you, I'm like, oh my God, they really like these stories. And there's more. I'm going to do more every single show because I have so many of them. And I will probably do a Patreon video on Saturday, and I'll keep you posted on that. Now listen, I have a little bit of a, caveat today. I got a headache yesterday, okay? It was a bad one, and it settled in the lower right part of my neck and my skull, like right going into my brain, into my stem, and it hasn't gone away. I took Advil, and then I even had to get up at 3 in the morning and take more Advil. And it feels like I probably have to go get some acupuncture. And it also feels like I took the stress of the entire world and I put it right there. So I'm having a hard time moving my neck. And the minute I get off here, I'm going to take some more Advil because I've eaten. So this will clear, but that's maybe why my energy's a little bit low. So what I did was I just did this sort of stream of consciousness, and I wrote down the things that popped out for me in the testimony yesterday, which I watched and was riveting. And I'll give you some of my left ear impressions about it, and then we'll do more because more is coming, all right? All right, I got that neck thing. It's like, okay, you know what Louise Hay would say? She'd say, well, who's the pain in your neck? That's, Louise Hay, if you don't know Louise Hay. Anyway, all right. Cassidy Hutchinson is 25 years old, and she showed up yesterday in a very professional and poised way and answered questions, and she was extremely credible, 100% credible in my view, in my left ear view. Now, what is a little incredible to me is that first, she was an aide to Ted Cruz, then she was an aide to Steve Scalise, and then Mark Meadows. And I guess she's a very staunch Republican. She really believed in Donald Trump. And I made a comment to a friend of mine, and it didn't come out, and it's not catty. It's an observation from like almost a spiritual place. First of all, she's an old soul, Cassidy. She's been around this cycle, whatever it is, and this is she's been around, and she looks older than 25. Now, she's a very nice looking young woman, so that's not what I mean. She just embodies a much older woman, and if you had me guessing, I go, oh yeah, she's 32, maybe even a little bit more. So anyway, it's just an observation, and I thought, well, if you worked for Ted Cruz, Steve Scalise, and Mark Meadows, maybe you'd age rapidly too. All right, little humor there. All right, now let me just share with you the things that stood out to me. And the thing that echoed between yesterday and today is when she said she had a thought when Mark Meadows in their adjoining offices was not responding to her. He was just acting like no emotion and not distracted by what was going on in the Capitol. And she said, I got so frustrated. I thought Mark needs to care. And I thought that was a very stunning admittance, statement. Mark needs to care. And I think that sums up Mark Meadows in a way, just that. His passiveness, neutrality. Now, this is not in my notes, but it's coming up for me right now. That somebody had said that Mark is famous for saying whatever somebody needs to hear. And actually, Adam Schiff has a story about that. But Adam Schiff did not make that particular remark. Adam Schiff found himself sitting on an airplane with Mark Meadows, and they talked and da-da-da-da. And Mark said some very encouraging things to Schiff. And then when they got off the airplane, Mark Meadows ended up being, the press came to talk to him, and he said completely the opposite of what he had said to Schiff on the airplane. And when Adam Schiff confronted him, this is what he said to Adam Schiff. Well, you know how it goes, Adam. Like, so there's nothing. He's a nothing burger. There's no spine. They need to build some spine in there. You know, put some metal. All right, I'm going to get off of that. All right, I'm going on. Cassidy said, because she was behind the stage, and this woman was in on everything. She was in on meetings with Nancy Pelosi, everybody in the White House, the Oval Office. She was on the Air Force One. She was backstage at the Capitol riot. This woman was like Zelig. She was key because she was assistant to Mark Meadows. So she said, it was clear to us that the Capitol Police would not be able to defend themselves. Nobody cared, all right? And then on the 5th, after a meeting in the Oval Office, Giuliani came out and said to her, are you excited about tomorrow? Are you excited? And at that point, she wasn't completely sure what was going on. When she did, the next day, you know, really start to get alarmed, really start to see what was happening. Trump was giving orders, get rid of the mags, which the mags are the metal detectors. Let them in with the weapons. They're not going to hurt me. You know what I call that? I call that an opera singer. Me. And I know some opera singers, and I know you do too, but he's the greatest opera singer of all time. And everything. So if there were weapons, AR-15s, whatever, knives, it was okay because no one was going to hurt him. I have something to say about this at the end. Okay, so maybe stay tuned in because this is not going to be long today. Meadows said she was asking him, she was prodding Mark Meadows in their offices, and he just was looking on his phone. That was the description. And he said, it could get bad, Cass. It could get violent. And then later he said, let me know when Jim calls. And he left the office and he went to the dining room, and that was Jim Jordan. So Jim Jordan met him in the dining room, and she heard them talking about the chanting, hang Mike Pence. So they're in the dining room talking about it. That's all. Not stopping it, talking about it, or contacting the president. When confronted, she asked Mark, I think it was her that asked Mark Meadows, I could be wrong about that, but he said, and right in her presence, Trump doesn't think he's doing anything wrong, because they kept saying, Mark, step in and stop him, step in and stop him, and he just wouldn't. Then we all know that more than one person heard Trump say regarding hang Mike Pence, he deserves it. So now we begin to feel this very violent man, this very sort of rageful, murderous man. I had no doubts about it, but the testimony, and then that story that came up about the ruckus, the physical ruckus in the car, the big car, what they call the beast, between his top security guy, Engel, I think Bobby Engel, and the story is, which she heard repeatedly but did not witness, was that Trump was saying, I'm the fucking president, turn this around. I'm going to the Capitol. No, sir, we need to go to the White House. And then it evidently got violent, and accordingly, Trump leapt at the guy's throat. They know how to defend themselves. So nothing happened. And then there was a story that he sort of lurched forward to try to grab the steering wheel. Now that feels a little odd to me because those cars are really big and long, and often there's a window. So I don't know. I'm just sharing that with you. Anyway, I think there was some truth in it, but it needs to be verified or not verified. It wasn't going to make or break the testimony yesterday. It's just, it illustrates the illness that is Trump. Now, I'm just gonna branch off here for a second. I know this man named Tom Joseph. He's on Twitter with me, and we're pretty friendly. If I end up in Chicago, I'm sure we're gonna visit. So he has a podcast that I really like, and I think he's really smart, but he has a very interesting family background. He had 2 or 3 relatives, forgive me, Tom, that passed from frontal temporal dementia, Huntington's disease. He's seen a lot. He had the tests. He doesn't have the gene. He won't get those illnesses, thank God. But he has been saying for a very long time that Trump has frontal temporal dementia because he watched his own father. So and the point of this is that he refers to Trump as a senior mental patient, he uses the word violent mental patient, dementia patient. So some of this is dementia, and dementia takes a really long time, a really, really long time. Now, the other thing about Donald Trump's violence, which I don't doubt at all, is all the claims by women that say he raped them. And it makes it more even believable. Even his ex-wife, Ivana, claimed that he got into a rage with her one night and raped her, pulled some of her hair out, and then forced her to take it out of her divorce settlement. I'm going to tell you, he did that. I'm just going to tell you from my left ear, he did that. So now it's much easier to believe the assaults on women. This is going to come out more. But I want to get this right. Tom said he's a violent dementia patient. Okay? I agree. But I think he was violent even before. All right. So more information is flowing into the committee. It's amazing how they put this together so quickly. I think it was important because it really got people thinking. It really got people like, oh, that's even worse. And then we got a congressman's name, Jim Jordan. I had no doubts he was a part of it. And I think what's coming up in July, if they don't call another one, out of the blue, is I think they're going to bring up all the names of people that ask for pardons with proof that they ask, because some people are denying. And then what are the implications of that? And these people are going to get named so the DOJ can take over. This is coming. So the jewel, or there's 2 in my world, from the 1-6 committee is, number 1, it goes down in the history books impeccably. Impeccably. It is recorded, and Trump can never fight that. I think it's like gold, all right? So important. And then they've also made it, because their work has been so precise and clear, like great storytelling, like this step, then this step, and this step. Really, I'm not sure they would have done it without this News TV award-winning producer, because it smacks of TV production in not a cynical way, by the way, in a very good, organized storytelling kind of way. And I think that was an extremely smart thing they did, was bringing this team on that does news and documentaries. All right. Then Liz Cheney ended the 2-hour inquiry yesterday with a letter. And the letter was very intimidating. It was a letter from some higher up to someone like Cassidy. So it comes under the umbrella of witness intimidation. Witness intimidation, and that's so serious. It's a huge felony. So being kind of a talented prosecutor, Liz, I don't even know if she has a legal background, but she's got some talent at that. She read this letter and she didn't identify who it was to, and it was very intimidating and it was very mob-like. And today I find out from the news that that letter was sent to Cassidy directly from Trump, okay? Because Trump, Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony and her clear, simple answers of the questions in this very authentic, poised, quiet manner advanced the case for Merrick Garland and the DOJ. Those are the two enormous takeaways, I think. And there'll probably be more. I know you'll understand. Somewhere I have good evidence stories, there's no question, but I sort of just don't have that focus today. But I did pull a quote while the Advil was really working on this. And it's kind of a Mark Twain today, because I quoted Mark Twain in my community section. If you didn't check it, check it. Such a smart man. Anyway, what Mark Twain said, what gets us into trouble is not what we don't know. It's what we know for sure that just ain't so. Isn't that it? Isn't that crazy? What gets us into trouble is not what we don't know, in case I read it wrong. What gets us into trouble is not what we don't know. It's what we know for sure that just ain't so. So chew on that, my friends. And what's today? Wednesday. I'm going to say my plan is to be back on Friday, and then it's going to go quiet. You know, it'll be really slow news. So then, you know, I'll be observing probably the weekend. All right, you take care. Thanks for understanding. Make peace, make memories. More to come. Hold the faith. There's a shift. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.